Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 10. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Myke Metzger. Myke is in social media marketing, branding, network marketing leader, and video marketing. His success is his strong beliefs in experiences and learning from results. His love for teaching from his experiences and life lesson is what pushes him to further success. Myke has a natural talent to break down the complex problems into simplicity. Hello, Myke.
Hey, Patience, how are you?
I'm fine.
Great.
Thanks for coming. I know, Myke, the clan here is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan a bit about your background, about what you did before you started your online business, or take us right up to the last job or the business before your online marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much for having me on. Before I ever entered into the world of internet marketing or even trying to become successful at all, I was originally a bartender. When I was young, even before that, when I was about 17 or 18, I had started my own graphic design business, and I was charging people through PayPal just to create very simple layouts for things like MySpace and YouTube, things like that. And so when I was young, just graduating out of high school, I kind of captivated the power of what it would be like to earn money online, how to work from home. And, back then I didn't really have any business experience. So it was definitely a lesson and kind of a small taste of what was to come in the future, but I never executed on it. I didn't continue to run that business. And so when I turned 19, I went and I got a regular job like all of my friends did. And I worked as a waiter and I worked as a retail cashier, and I bounced back and forth from a few different jobs and even had a short sales job for a little while. And then I went through a couple years of kind of really getting kind of screwed over by friends and just going through learning a lot from my own failures and making a lot of mistakes, just kind of looking in the wrong direction as far as where I wanted my life to go. And slowly things went downhill. And then I had the great idea to basically sell everything that I owned and move to the city of Richmond, Virginia, where I live. And so I moved to the city down on a college campus, and I no longer needed transportation. And being down in the city, I just found odds and ends and different ways to make income here and there. And unfortunately, I became content with not having a job. And so I just bounced back and forth from place to place and couch to couch and just never really made the decision to push myself to start a career or create a significant income. And after being in the city for a couple years, I decided that I was going to become a bartender. And so I bartended for about 2 years, and it helped me a little bit with getting on my feet. I made some connections and just learned how to interact with people pretty well. I learned a little bit about, how to run a business in communications, how to speak to people and persuade people and basically solve a problem, provide a service for somebody. And so I did that for a couple of years, and I was introduced to the world of network marketing. Throughout network marketing, I learned a lot. And from there, it was when I really started to understand how to get to a higher level of success and push myself and make new connections and kind of just get to that higher level. So I started in network marketing, which I'm still in today. I've, jumped back and forth from a couple different companies to just kind of find out what worked best for me. And here we are today. And I feel like I've had a lot of success in a very short amount of time. I've only been in the industry for about a year and a half. And through there, I've been able to travel the entire country, meet thousands of people. I've been able to speak on stage and share my story and train hundreds and even thousands of people on how to duplicate what I've been able to do. And here we are today.
Wow, that's a great background, Myke. So help us connect with you. Tell us one thing, either a business or a personal, that we want to know about you, even if we have been following you for a while.
I think the one thing that people don't know about me, I have a lot of tattoos, a lot of artwork all over my body. I really, really love music. And I think my appearance in general is so much different than my personality. I think people can hear me on a podcast like this and have this sort of image of who I maybe am. And then when somebody would meet me, they'd have no idea that I was even the same person. I have a very deep love for music. I grew up with headphones in my ears pretty much 24/7. I really enjoy traveling and talking to people, but it's funny because when somebody meets me, I almost seem like I have kind of a lack of emotion. I think if somebody saw me face to face and met me, they'd be very surprised that I am the same person that's on this podcast today. I feel like my skills are very what's the word? I'm very underestimated as far as when people meet me, and people are very shocked to kind of see what I have to provide for anybody that gets in touch with me or that gets to meet or work with me.
Wow. How did you make such a large transition in a short amount of time?
Well, I believe I made such a large transition in such a short amount of time just because some of the principles that were instilled in me from a young age. I grew up without a lot of guidance. Unfortunately, my parents split up when I was young, and so I was never kind of told to listen and follow directions. I was never the one that got good grades and kind of did what I was supposed to do. I was kind of a rebel. I made a lot of mistakes. I was always getting in trouble. And so once I reached about 15 years old, I was always just pushing the boundaries. And when I decide to do something, I do it to the fullest of my capabilities. So throughout sports in high school, I was always infatuated with being the best. And so when I was a kid, I always just wanted to be the best at everything. And when it came to marketing and running a business, I soon learned that I wasn't the best, that I was nowhere near the best. And it pushed me to work even harder. So I don't know what it is about me, but I've always just been so focused, just 24/7. I'm always really pushing to do what I got to do. I'm willing to make the big sacrifices, and throughout my journey, that's what I've had to do, is really cut off a lot of what I've enjoyed. I've sold a lot of my belongings. I've cut off relationships with a lot of really close friends, all because the end goal is so much bigger than anything that was holding me back. And I think my ability to just drop the stuff that doesn't matter and continue to focus on what does matter in the future is what keeps me going every day. And that's a big principle that took place over the past year and why I am where I am today.
Okay. People tend to think the sunshine always shines because you are successful now. Did you have any setbacks, failures while setting up your online marketing business? What were those setbacks?
Well, I love that you brought up sunshine because one of the quotes that I always share on stage is that what you do in the dark is rewarded in the light. And it's very, very true. And it kind of touches on the last answer that I gave. When I had to break ties with some of my best friends and have people kind of laugh at me or think that what I was doing was dumb, that is when you're put to the test. That's when a true entrepreneur kind of sheds his skin. And that's what happened for me is I just didn't let other people's opinions and the negativity and the doubters affect me at all. So what I think is that there is one big thing that will hold someone back. And it's when they get started, it's the fact that it is very difficult to just have the confidence that I have today. And so when I first got started, it was all trying to figure out the mentality of how to be confident. And I think that that's one of the biggest attributes of somebody that needs to be successful, because even if they don't know how to do something, if they have the desire and the confidence, then everything else can be taught. They can learn whatever else they need to learn. They can pick up a book or get on YouTube or get on any sort of training website or success blog, and they can learn the skills that they need. But if they're not confident with that information and they don't have the desire with the information, then they'll never achieve it. So the biggest thing is having the confidence and having the big desire, because if you have those two things and you don't lose them, everything else can be taught to you.
Did you ever had any setbacks or failures while you are setting up your online marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of my biggest failures were some of the people that I decided to follow were maybe the wrong people. They kind of led me in the wrong direction, and I had thought about quitting a couple times. Maybe just kind of saying, forget this. I don't want to do it. I'll do my own thing, or I'll start something else, or I'll start over new. And so I would definitely count those as failures. As far as setbacks, one of my biggest setbacks is I always thought that I needed things that I didn't have. For example, when I was living in a house that was falling apart and I didn't quite have the greatest technology in front of me. I had a laptop that wasn't so great and a cell phone that, wasn't the fanciest, newest thing. And the people I was surrounding myself with weren't so great. Just the materialistic things that I owned, I always thought that they were holding me back. And now today, I have a brand new cell phone and a brand new laptop and I have a big whiteboard and a fancy apartment. But that's not to impress anybody. It's just to say that I didn't need any of these things to get to where I am. And for some reason, I always thought that I did. I always thought that I needed a big whiteboard in my room. I always thought I needed, an iPad and a MacBook. And I didn't, because all of those things, you can still send text messages and send emails and check your website and update what you got to update. You can always learn with those things. And they ended up not being setbacks, but I always believed that they were. And ultimately, they were setbacks for me back then because I let them hold me back. I let them limit my success because I thought I always needed better instead of just using the tools that I had at my fingertips.
Okay. Regarding that setback, what emotion did you experience? How did you feel, and how did you describe what was going on to your closest friends and your relatives?
I would say it was anxiety. Not anxiety in the stressful kind of emotional way. I would say anxiety more in the terms of actually being anxious. I was so anxious to prove the people that were watching me wrong. And I don't know why I was, because they'll never step out and say anything. They'll never tell you good job. They'll never pat you on the back. They'll always they'll always trust you as a friend, but they'll never respect you. And the reason why is because they don't know what you're doing. They're not going through what you're going through on a daily basis. And when I first got started, I was so eager to kind of, show my old friends that I was doing it, that I was making my way, that I was finding success little by little. So the emotion was mainly just so anxious to make it. So anxious to travel and, get on a plane and go meet people. I was so anxious to finally get on stage and share my story. I was anxious to, make that first big paycheck. And once I slowly knocked those things off the list, there was no big recognition waiting on the other side. So the emotion that I had versus the emotion that I should have had was just anxiety versus adversity. And if you have adversity and you realize that you're doing it for not anybody else, but you're doing it for yourself, and that you don't need to prove anybody else wrong, you just need to prove yourself right. And once I finally proved myself right, everybody else's opinion didn't matter. And those were the main emotions that I was going through those setbacks.
Okay. I know my clan would love to hear how you overcome this, and we are going to talk much more about this in our extended interview. But just to attempt us for later, Myke, how did you make it through with all that?
I think the two main things are exclusivity and confidence. I mentioned confidence earlier, so I don't need to touch on that too much, but having the confidence to believe in yourself and really just kind of put your mark in the sand is so unbelievably important. And that confidence touches on everything that I've shared with you today. Just not worrying about the doubters and the naysayers. But when it comes to exclusivity, what I mean is that not everybody is going to be interested in what you're doing, whether it's selling a product, whether it's network marketing, whether it's, building a success blog, whether it's running, any sort of business at all. I think exclusivity is very important. It's why certain businesses, go to billions, because they understand that their product or their way of doing things is not for everybody. I can't think of any companies today that appeal to everybody in the world. I mean, you think of Apple, they're one of the biggest companies in the world, and there's still millions of people out there that'll never buy an Apple product. So when you realize that you have to be exclusive to the people that you want to connect with that will understand you, and you don't worry about the people that don't understand you, that's when you'll start to make your way. So the big, secret, I guess, that people ask me about is, there never really is a secret. It's just do the work and get it done and you'll make it. But for the people that do kind of want to hear the secret, I guess, paradigm behind what I've done, is I ask a lot of my students, why do people maybe not want to work at like a fast food restaurant? Why does somebody maybe not want to work at a, McDonald's or a Taco Bell or something like that? And a lot of the answers that I get, they're all correct, but they're never the one that I'm looking for. And people answer and they say, oh, well, I don't want to work for a small wage. I don't want to have to wear a uniform, or I don't want to work for, disrespectful people or work bad hours, or, I don't want to surround myself with that kind of environment. And those are all great answers, but they're never the one that I'm looking for. And the true answer or secret behind why a business succeeds is that as soon as something looks like anyone can do it, nobody wants to do it. And it's such an obvious answer that's in front of people's faces, but they don't really capture that. And so the answer of why somebody would not want to work there is because anybody could do it. You don't really need any requirements. You don't need to go to college to get a job there. You don't have to look a particular way or, have a certain degree. You don't need any of those things, and you could most likely gain employment there. And it's not to put down on anybody working in that type of job. It's
I
just
have
that
worked in a McDonald's. I can tell it was
exactly.
so hot.
Yeah. And so, everybody's been there. And me too. I've had my fair share of horrible jobs that I didn't want to show up at. And sure enough, I got fired from every single one of them because of the things that I just mentioned. And so what it comes down to is you have to be exclusive with whatever you're doing and realize that it's not for everybody. And if anybody can do it, if you just throw your product or your business opportunity or your website, if you just throw it out there like it's nothing, there will be no results, and people will feel like there's nothing special about it. And if somebody feels like there's nothing special about it, or like anybody in the world could just go check it out or get it, they're not going to feel that sense of urgency that there needs to be to check out what you're doing, to check out your business or become part of your movement or your revolution, whatever it is that you're sharing with people in your success journey. Then it has to be something exclusive. So when I share whatever I'm doing, whether it's my students with my course or whether it's my business and my products that I sell, I always make sure that it's exclusive, that people realize that there is something special about being a part of it. And I think that that's the main key ingredient behind the success that I've had.
Wow. You said your focus on, or your specialty online is into social media marketing. What do you do for people?
So the main thing that I do is I'm a consultant for a lot of things. There's two different sides to the business. On one side, I work with individual entrepreneurs, so singular people, somebody who's maybe running an MLM business or network marketing, and they're looking to create a big list of potential customers or a list of potential recruits or business partners. And I work with the individuals because it's a very different way to build a business like that versus building a traditional business like a candy store or a pest control company or something like that. So there's two very different sides of business. And so I work with the individuals in MLM and whatever kind of entrepreneurial journey they're on. And then I also work with traditional small business owners. And what I help them do is help them brand themselves and build an online presence. So figuring out how to appeal to a customer, how to target a particular audience and portray all of that through using the internet. And so the kind of vision behind what I do is every day I'm online and I see all kinds of new systems and new programs and new gurus out there trying to charge people to learn their new stuff. And when it comes down to it, nobody needs anything new and shiny. And so many entrepreneurs and business owners, they have shiny object syndrome. And as soon as the new person or the new Facebook ad or the new program gets, flashed in front of them, they feel like it's the token that they've been missing to their success. And in my opinion, it's not. Everything that they need to succeed is already in front of them. And in most cases, it's already free. Things like Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and Pinterest, all of these things are at everybody's disposal. You can use them for free, and they're proven to work for other people. They work. People have made millions just promoting themselves on social media and connecting with the right people and growing a huge audience. And it's done through having valuable content and the right things that they need to deliver to the right audience. And so that's what I do as far as social media marketing. And that's why I call it the social campus, because it's a way to learn about the things that are already out there every single day that we can all get our hands on for free. It doesn't need to be, some crazy secret training webinar that I need to sit down for 3 hours and learn all this new secret stuff. There's no secrets left. Everything is out there that everybody needs to succeed with. And that's what I truly believe, and that's what I do.
Okay. My clan is a group of hungry entrepreneurs looking to move their business forward. How can your expertise help my clan?
I think that my expertise in general is most important in branding. There's so many little tricks. They're not secrets, but they're tips in order to represent yourself the right way. You have to be appealing to a customer. You have to solve a problem for the people that you're looking for. And everybody is so eager to win big. Everyone wants to make money. Everyone wants to get out there, get recognition for what they've done. They want to build their business really, really big. But you have to take your eyes off yourself and focus on the customer. There's always a customer, always. Even clients that hire me to do consulting for their big real estate agencies, they are my customer. And so my number one focus is them. And I have to share with them that since my main focus is them as my customer, that they need to realize that their main focus needs to be their customer. And if their customer is having their problem solved, that is how you start to build big momentum with your business. In order to get the attention of those customers, you have to be appealing to them in the correct way. So there's a lot of psychology that goes into it. And so what I can do to help anybody who's listening to this is make sure that you're positioned correctly and that you're getting whatever you're sharing with the world in front of the right people. Because if I'm selling shoes and I'm sharing it with a bunch of people that are looking at, snowboards, I'm not helping them. You're putting what you have to provide in front of the wrong person most of the time because it's so difficult to figure out the kind of keys to the web to get your product in front of the right audience. And so that's what I help people do, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're a business owner. I take what you have and I put it in front of the right people and connect you with the right customers.
Okay. Do you have something today that can help with our online success journey? Something to make the road a bit smoother for us. We don't want to work so hard.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've appreciated you having me on here so much. And so what I've decided to do is my course is usually sold for about $500. Personal consultants that actually want to bring me on and help themselves and become a client of mine is normally a much higher ticket than that. Now, what I've done for everybody listening to this today is not only have I reduced the price to $300, but I've given an additional half off. So the price for anybody who's able to access my content through here is $150 one time, and they'll have access to all of the future trainings that I do. And so what those trainings provide is a set of video modules that do tutorials on how to properly position yourself on all the different social medias, how to get your product in front of the right audience, how to actually target customers that are ready to buy, and how to brand yourself and get thousands of people that are able to follow your own story. And that's what I've been able to do for myself, gain honestly, over probably 100,000 followers through all of my different social networks. And these are people that aren't just random. They're actually targeted to what I do. And it's exactly the reason why I'm able to share my story on a podcast like this. And I can do the same thing for anybody else. They just have to duplicate and copy exactly what I've done.
Wow. Okay, where do we find this fabulous offer, Myke?
So if you want to take a peek at what the course has to provide, you go to thesocialcampus.com. And so that site gives a little sneak peek at what I provide. And then the link that I'll be giving you, patients, is the link to the half off access, which is $150 one time. And through there, they'll be redirected into my social domination mastery course once they've paid. Once they've done that, they'll have full access to everything that I've provided for all my students, and they'll have full access to me as well to ask their questions and to get any help on the business that they're working on.
Okay. Clan Myke is going to hang out and share more information about his journey with us. If you can relate to where Myke started his journey so far, or if you just want to learn more about Myke, you can listen to the extended version of his journey at onlinesuccessjourney.com. If you are listening at the journeyonlinesuccess.com, click on part 2 of Myke's journey and you'll get even more tips to help you with your online success journey. Remember, you can go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for more information about membership and all our journey podcast. So check out Myke's social media marketing course at the socialcampus.com, where we have more information. And if you are not part of the clan, you should be, because Myke is offering 50% discount to clan members, and you can learn more about joining at onlinesuccessjourney.com. So don't forget it. Myke's social media marketing course at the socialcampus.com. That's the place. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. See you in part 2. Patience and Myke.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.